thank you all so much for holding on there. Myself and Florent are about to introduce ourselves as technical experts, but obviously we're not experts in sound for live streaming videos. So really appreciate you holding on there. We won't delay any more time. So quick intro, I'm Lorna. I'm from Ireland, so I'm one of the few Irish employees actually here in the Dublin office. So I work on the Global Customer Care team, and I've been here 2.5 years, but I'll tell you a little bit more about that. And with me, I also have Florent.
Yeah, so I've been at Google for like 1 year now, and I'm in the same team as Lorna, but on a different market. I'm on the French market. And I'm very excited to talk to you about AdWords today and the digital landscape that we evolve in every day.
Yeah, well, let's get cracking because we know we're a little behind time, but we want to just give you a bit of an introduction into ads. So this was previously known as Google Adwords. We've just had a rebrand in the past almost 2 weeks, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
So if you have any questions along the way, you can obviously post them in the chat that's on the right hand side of the YouTube video. We will properly look through this at the end of the slides, but we'll keep an eye out throughout the presentation. But we will leave some time at the end for some questions. So yeah, I suppose, do you want to actually, you want the next slide? Really quick fun fact. When you start Google, everyone asks you a fun fact. So mine is actually quite funny. When I was in university, I was asked to be an Emma Watson lookalike. Apparently the people on this fashion show thought I looked like Emma Watson, which I really don't. That's why it's kind of a funny fact. But I had 15 minutes of fame, and I had to be on TV pretending that I thought Emma Watson was my idol. So that's my kind of embarrassing claim to fame.
And my fun fact is not that fun, but I still love it. It's very recent, and I had to talk about it. France won the World Cup, and I had the chance to lead an epic Viking thunderclap celebration on the Bastille Place, which is one of the most famous roundabouts of Paris.
And I suppose just a little bit about our backgrounds maybe. I studied communications here in Dublin City University. It was a 3-year degree. And after that, I worked for a year in my students' union. I was the welfare officer. And I think that was probably the best experience I had to date, pre-Google maybe. It just gave me a lot of insight into, there we are again. It just gave me a lot of insight into I suppose working in real life situations and supporting students in universities. So if I was to give any advice, I would definitely say get involved in the kind of extracurricular activities in your university, be it clubs and societies. That's definitely what I feel really got me my place here at Google.
For myself, I have like a very international background. So I used to live in many countries before coming back to France to study. So I studied business in the north of France, and with a big focus on entrepreneurship. So I had the chance to conduct my own projects after university and before joining Google. So yeah, more entrepreneurship and innovation background.
Great.
Now, let's get to the real stuff. What is Google? So it's a basic definition. So Google is an American multinational technology company that specializes in internet-related services and products. The most famous of those products is the search engine, of course, but those internet-related services and products involve also online advertising technologies, cloud computing, software, and hardware as well. The parent company of Google is Alphabet, as most of you probably know it. Their headquarters are in Mountain View, California, and we have approximately more than 85,000 employees around the world.
Yeah, it's insane.
Not only in Dublin.
Not only in Dublin. We have maybe about 3,000 or 4,000 in Dublin, I think. Yeah. And only about 1,000 of those are Irish. I feel like I'm in a minority.
That's
it's
still
funny.
a lot.
It is a lot, actually, on the grand scheme of things. So then just on the next slide there, do you know what these numbers stand for, Florent? Do you have any idea?
I don't, but you'll probably tell us
I
about it.
will. So 153, that's not the number of different menus that we have at lunchtime here at Google. It's actually the number of offices that we have worldwide. So what started as an office in a friend's garage back in, I think, 1996 has now evolved into, or 1998, sorry, has now evolved into worldwide offices, 153 in total. And then the number 15 represents the number of departments that we have in the company. So these range from engineering to communications, from global business to product management. There really is, that 15 is kind of, seems like a very small number there, but under each department there are thousands of different roles and job titles there. So yeah, it's mad to think that it's evolved so much in the last 20 years. And Backrub, do you know what this might be?
Backrub, yeah, if I remember well, that's the first name of Google, right?
Yeah, very good. So Backrub was the first nickname that Larry and Sergey came up with for the company. Obviously, Google is a household name, but Backrub, they coined Backrub because it checked backlinks to estimate the importance of a site, which kind of makes sense. I think it's kind of a funky name. But then they landed on Google after they misspelled the word Google, which is the number 1 followed by 100 zeros to kind of represent how many search results that they can, I suppose, have in Google. Great. So then, I suppose the vision, as you all know, it hasn't changed over the past 20 years. It is to organise the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. So this is kind of becoming even more relevant in the day-to-day that we live in now, especially with mobile devices and how accessible information is. Like, I have a Pixel phone, which I love, and I just squeeze the sides of it, and then I can do my "Okay, Google" and ask a question. And so I feel like it's just amazing how accessible information is right now. But always that mission to organise the world's information is quite cool.
So yeah, as we said before, Google has a lot of domain of activity, but their main source of revenue comes from, of course, online advertising activities, which are mostly driven by a platform that Lorna and I work on a daily basis, which is Google Ads, previously Google Adwords. So we're going to make the mistakes a few times during this presentation because among ourselves we still call it AdWords, unfortunately. But yeah, it's Google Ads. Most of the revenue of Google comes from it. And we're going to talk about it during this presentation. But before going to it, we're going to talk about the digital landscape. And after talking about the digital landscape, we're going to talk about the digital marketing landscape. And that's important for us. On our daily job and role, it's important for us to know about it and to understand it, because most of the people we talk with on a daily basis evolve in this digital marketing environment, whether it's our colleagues, our customers that we talk to, or the customers of our customers. So let's dig into it. First of all, the digital landscape.
Do you know what this number stands for, 3.7 billion?
I don't.
I feel like I'm quizzing you today.
Yeah, but it's a huge number. It's like half of the world population, right?
So 3.7 billion is the amount of internet users in the world, and we expect there to be 5 billion active users by 2020. So not too far away, it's only 2 years away. And there's approximately over 70% of the world with access to the internet at the moment. So
That is crazy.
The 2020 goal is very, very within our reach, I imagine.
It's a lot of people to reach.
Yeah. So we don't go online, we live online.
Yeah. I remember when we were young, or at least when I was young, like we had to pay to go on internet. You know, the longer we stayed on internet, the more we had to pay. Yeah.
And I had to disconnect our telephones.
Yeah, exactly. You could not be on the same time, like on the phone and on the internet, and that was crazy because we could not be connected all the time. We're not living online. We are actually living offline, just going online from time to time.
Time to time. I used to get in so many arguments with my family about going secretly on the internet. But yeah, so in today's day and age, I suppose, We spend 4.4 hours of the day in front of screens, 150 interactions with mobile devices per day. And to kind of give you an overview of how this is evolving, within a month we have about 1 billion searches, and of 15% of daily queries that we see, our system has never seen before. So people are curious, people are learning more about what they can search, and I suppose the information that they can find out there, which is pretty fascinating that it's moving so fast. Another number I have for you on the next slide. Sorry.
Wow.
Yeah, 5.1 billion. So I feel like this also seems to relate to some sort of population.
Yeah, don't quiz me about it.
No, but no. This is every single day there are approximately 5.1 billion searches on Google globally. Each search, of course, is an opportunity for a business or organization to present its website as an answer to a searcher's question. And then I suppose all businesses, no matter what size, really do benefit from an online presence, because so many customers begin their shopping process online. As you can see, having a strong online presence is key to succeeding in this digital world. And it's only becoming more and more important as internet usage increases. So it's extremely important to, I suppose, obtain essential digital skills if you're going to have a business.
Absolutely. So yeah, that's a lot of people to reach, right?
Yeah.
A lot of, like literally billions of people that companies are able to reach.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I suppose this kind of sums up the internet killed the TV star, maybe? Is that, it used to be TV kills the radio star, and this is where we are now. So soon after the internet was born, advertising as we know it has changed dramatically. Suddenly the user has a choice, which means that our old methods of pushing and interrupting became exactly what the world's words behind them are. They became annoying and even more abundant. So I suppose what the advertisements that we were used to were TV commercials, print and newspapers. These have become, the advertisements we see now are much more, I suppose, ingrained in our everyday lives. We see them everywhere. We can't really avoid them. And yeah, we do 100 things at the same time. So when there is an interruption, we could quickly make ourselves occupied elsewhere. And this kind of brings me nicely onto the next slide in terms of how we have to accept that all media is skippable. I suppose not all media or ads have skip in buttons, but the point that I'm trying to make here is that yes, the advertising landscape has changed dramatically. We're now getting ads without even knowing it on our mobiles, on the TV shows that we watch, on the YouTube videos that we watch, when we're reading articles. But we are finding ways to filter these out so that we don't have to see these advertisements. So whether it's ad blockers or only watching things on Netflix or HBO, ad blockers on YouTube, looking at your mobile phone during commercial breaks, or simply not watching TV at all. The digital world has given us more choice, I suppose, into what we see.
It does. And yeah, with this increase of people to reach, this innovation in terms of ways of reaching them led to a higher demand in terms of digital marketing skills in companies. Actually, the demand for those digital marketing skills is way higher than the supply for it. So last year, for example, in 2007, 20% of companies were planning to hire more people with digital marketing skills than the previous years. And this number keeps on growing because, as we said, there are more people to reach and more effective way to reach them. And if you're interested in marketing, nowadays you need to have some digital marketing experience, because 90% of those marketing roles that are offered by companies require some of this digital marketing experience. So if you want to make a career into it, well, you'll definitely will be able to find some job there. What makes a successful digital marketer? That's a question we kind of ask ourselves every day. The first thing would be creativity. It's the first thing that we would think about, because you need to find some new and innovative ways to reach out to your customers and to reach them. It's kind of a race to innovation over there, where you can see some new campaigns or new ways of reaching them, or interacting, like companies interacting with their customers every day. So yeah, it's full of creativity, but I don't think it's the most important skill to have if you want to be a successful digital marketer. So most important one, I think, would be to have an analytical mindset. The great thing about digital marketing is that you can analyze everything, analyze every result, and you'll be able to interpret all those results to be very successful. As we said before, you need to understand the landscape you're evolving in. You need to understand how your audience targeting will work, and once again, how the marketing analytics interact with those. Another very important part of our job is having effective written and verbal communication skills. Most of your day is going to be talking with customers, talking with your colleagues, talking with different teams. So you need to have very effective communication skills, because most of the time you need to deep dive with your customers, for example, to really understand their problems, what they want to do. And if you don't do that, if you're not able to communicate with them, you probably won't be a successful digital marketer. And on a more internal way, you need to have strong project management skills, because on a day-to-day basis, when you're a digital marketer, you'll need to switch between campaigns, between clients, between different sort of activities. So you need to be flexible there, and to be able to navigate without ambiguity in this environment. And last but not least, of course, and this applies to a lot of jobs which are related to technology, is being lifelong learners, I guess. It's an environment that is evolving very, very fast. There are new innovations every day, and you need to be able and to be willing to learn to be successful here. When I talk about understanding the digital landscapes, what I mean is you need to understand different digital marketing channels that a company might be using to grow their business online. It goes from web design and development to like search engine optimization, if you want to appear well in the search results, social media, pay-per-click advertising, digital content and video. We're living in an era where content creation has never been that high. It's crazy. So you need to get onto it. Email marketing as well, online reviews, and local search presence. So all of those are very closely interconnected, and you need to work on all of them to have a strong online presence and activity.
Oh, super. So I'm just going to run through almost the touch points that it takes nowadays to get to a purchase in store or online. So first step might be, you might see something on social media. You might see a friend has tagged, I think a big thing for like fashion bloggers these days is tagging where they bought their outfits, which I love. I almost tap pictures that I see without realizing that they're just pictures of my friends to see where they bought their clothes. So you might first see something on social media. You might then get a mobile ad. You might then get a display ad when you're looking on, I don't know, like a newspaper article. Then you might want to go view them in store. A big thing is online reviews. So before I book anywhere, I take a look at what other people have said and what other people that have bought the item, how they think of it. And then you might also see an online video. And then last but not least, you might do a search, and that might bring you to make a purchase in store or purchase online. So many different touch points of how you actually can get to a purchase. And each touch point, I suppose, is equally as important as the other, because they all contribute to how we make our decisions. Yeah.
Absolutely. Touch point is a very good word to use here. Basically, in a customer's life, in a customer's journey, you have a lot of micro moments from where the customer just want to to know about something, when he is actually actively looking into it, towards the moment he's ready to buy. So if you're a company, you're ready to be there in those micro moments that matter to the brand. But how do you get started, since there are millions of potential moments? We have a good guiding principle here at this. Be there across all stages of the customer journey, not just when someone is ready to buy. For example, you personally, like when you're ready to buy a certain product, if you've never heard about the brand, then you're less likely to purchase it. That makes sense. But the other way around makes sense too. Like if you don't hear about a brand and its products and service, your will to purchase it will not be triggered in the first place. So that's why you need to be at every moment of the customer's journey. And to be at every moment of the customer's journey, well, there are those, Google offers a lot of marketing solutions to companies, whether it's search through SEO, whether it's Google Ads that we will talk about later to run some different ads on different networks, whether it's analytics to understand the behaviors of your consumers, and whether it's Maps or Google My Business to have a strong like local presence, whether it's YouTube if you want to work on your branding, or Google Plus if you want to interact with your customers. So we offer all those solutions, and companies should use them to actually be there all along the journey.
Can I ask you a question on that? Which one is your favorite?
Which one is my favorite?
Yeah,
that's a very good question. I'm a big content fan, so I would say YouTube.
YouTube.
Yeah, I watch a lot of YouTube, and
makes sense. Yeah.
Actually, I often interact with the ads. I mean, now that if I use YouTube a lot, I know that the ads that are going to show for me are going to be like about my hobbies and everything.
Yeah, that's so true. I think mine is Google My Business, because I'm a big fan of typing in near me, like shops near me, beauticians near me, hairdressers near me. I feel like that's how I get around. So without that, I think I wouldn't be able to make any of my own decisions. It's the best thing.
It is very useful. But I mean, the one we use the most for us in our daily life is probably Google Ads.
That's true. Yeah. That is. And that brings us on nicely. So I'm going to talk a little bit about building an online presence with ads, or AdWords as we know it so well. So I suppose, what is Google Ads? So this is kind of like the brief description I might give to my parents, because they still, after 2.5 years, don't know what I do. But essentially what we do, myself and Florent, we support advertisers who use Google Ads. And what Google Ads are is, when you search a result on Google, they're generally the first top 3, top 4 results that have an ad, like they have an ad icon beside them. And what this means is that advertisers are paying and businesses are paying for these spaces to put their ads. So the ads platform enables businesses to set a budget for their advertising and pay only when people click the ad. Now this can change depending on display and YouTube. Sometimes they pay when someone views their ad, but for the basis of like this example we have here, people would pay when they click the ad. And let's take a look at how this might work. So just stay in there, let's say someone wants to buy something, in this case, a clothing boutique. The searcher or the user might type in words or phrases describing what they want to find. So they might type in shoes, let's say, into Google. Now, Google will display a page of results that help the searcher to find relevant websites. So advertisers can show ads when people search for words and phrases relevant to their products and services. So when a searcher sees an ad and wants to learn more, a click sends that searcher to the advertiser's website. We all know that. But based off a couple of, what's the word I'm looking for? Factors. So we will rank the ads in order of relevance to the user. And we really, really want to stress the importance of having a professional, usable website here. So you want to make sure that the the website you're clicking on, that the page speed is good, that they're compatible with mobile device, and that the keywords that they have used, so let's say I type in red shoes, that when I get to the landing page, it's actually going to show me a web page of red shoes. So we really want to make sure that the user experience is top notch, and that as a user or as a searcher looking to buy something or looking to find some piece of information, that you're getting pointed in the right direction, and we really try and get you there as best as possible. So if you look directly above and below the organic search results, you may see ads served by Google's advertising program, Google Ads. These are paid placements. Obviously, advertisers compete against each other for ad spots on the page. So advertisers are not charged when ads appear. They pay only when searchers click the ads. Every time someone searches, Google generates a page with a list of the most relevant results for that searcher in that location at that moment in time. So these pages may show different results for different searchers. A person, let's say in California, might see a different set of results for red shoes than I would in Dublin. And that's really the beauty of it. It's just keeping it so relevant. And yeah, I think that is kind of like, in a nutshell, what Google Ads is and how it works. So 3 main places that ads can show. So obviously we have Google Search, and then the display network. So this is when you might see image ads pop up on the side of websites that you're already on, and then YouTube, which is Florence's favorite.
Let's start with text ads. So basically, text ads are the most simple ads that we offer to advertisers. It's basically the simplest online ad that Google Ads offers. It has 3 parts. So you have the headline, a display URL, a description text. You can add some extension to make it more relevant or more useful to the users. This will increase its quality score, increase its ranking, but I'll get to that later. Then you got the shopping ads. It's also part of the search network, because you still have to type in some keyword to get on them. They allow you basically to have a presence on the digital shelf. They include an image, a brief description of the product, its price. In some cases, you can get the ratings of the products, and of course, a link to the merchant website. The shopping campaigns are based on a feed that is sent from a merchant center. So that's another Google product that merchant use to actually have a list of their products. Sorry, not their problems. and yeah, that's where they can send all their products so that they can appear online on this digital shelf. Then the display ads.
Yeah, display ads. So as I just briefly mentioned earlier, this is image ads that might appear within a website that you're already looking at. So I think the example we have there might be CNN. My personal favorite would be the Daily Mail, although it is maybe not the top quality content, but I do love those kind of stories. And yeah, so display ads are where you can see these images on the side of the websites. You might also know display ads most prominently for remarketing. So a display is generally used for a really clever tool called remarketing. So when you might look up a pair of shoes online and you try to decide, okay, I'll buy them maybe next week. But then for the rest of the week, you see those shoes appear everywhere. So that's display ads use remarketing lists to, I suppose, target users that have already looked at certain products. So they're really smart and really get to the right user. And you always end up buying the shoes, don't you?
And then you got the Gmail ads. It's used to be part of the display network, and so it kind of is. So if any company uses email marketing or newsletter, showing ads in Gmail fits in perfectly for them. They're interactive ads that show at the top of your inbox tabs. Some of those ads are expandable, so this means when you click on one of these ads, it may just expand just like an email, and it can include images, video, embedded forms. Basically, Gmail ads help you connect with potential customers in a more personal format, and also in a place where actually they keep their personal stuff. So you can basically transmit any kind of personal message to them with Gmail ads.
And of course, then there's YouTube, which after Google.com has the most searches of all other search engines, if you will. So people searching on YouTube comes second to people searching on Google search. I suppose, like the rest of us, how many of us have gone to YouTube for instructional how-to videos? I mean, sometimes I even look up how to do really basic things in my house, which I'm going to be embarrassed to admit, but how to, we search for DIY, how to repair, install, videos, makeup tutorials, basically anything. Therefore, YouTube becomes a great place to extend your advertising message. Text or image ads next to videos, or even with the video screen itself. So you can see them pop up along the side, you can see them pop up in the video, or sometimes a video before you're about to watch a video. Videos are shown only to people you want, and you pay when they watch. So this is kind of what I was saying earlier. It's not, YouTube works slightly different to search. It's not when you click something, it's when you actually view the full ad. In other words, you won't waste money advertising to people who aren't interested in your business. So if you constantly skip ads, you're not wasting anyone's money. You're just
nor anyone's time.
Yeah, exactly. And then I suppose bringing it back into what myself and Florent do on a day-to-day, although what you see on the outside, I suppose, is ads maybe on YouTube popping up on search or in the articles that you're reading, what we see then, or what advertisers see, is completely different. So this is a quick insight into the back end of our AdWords or our Google Ads interface. And essentially every ad that you see is housed in a campaign, in an ad group, and has several different targeting methods to get to you and to be in front of you on your screen. So it's definitely much more thought out than you think.
Well, we were talking about that before, and it's a very important question for every advertiser. Which ad is shown? So basically, whenever there is room for an ad, whether it's on search or display or anything, there will be an auction that will be running among many competitors, and every competing ad will get an ad rank, which will depend on its bid and its quality score. The quality score, I'd say, needs a bit more focus than the bid. Of course, the bid is important because this is how much the advertiser is going to spend. But the quality score here is very important because it shows how useful and relevant the ad will be to the user. And Google really takes that into account during the auction. So every time the auction is run and ads are shown, a quality score is given to a certain ad in respect to its keyword. It's a quality score on a 1 to 10 scale, and it will influence the ranking on search and display. This quality score is made of the expected click-through rate. So is the user going to click on your ad? Is your ad appealing enough for him to click on it? Are you using extensions to make it more appealing? It's also composed of the ad relevance. So as the ad relevance is also taken into account here. So making sure that the keyword you are betting on is closely related to your ad. And finally, the landing page experience. As Lorna, you already mentioned that the speed of the page and if the interface is smooth or not.
Yeah.
Is the landing page also in relation to the text of your ad or to the keywords? That will also be taken into account. So with this system of ad rank, an advertiser which has a very low bid but a very high quality score may get more chances of winning the auction than an advertiser which has a very high bid but a very poor quality score.
Great. And then I suppose trying to get your head around how it's actually structured on the back end. So I might start from the bottom here. You create keywords to target users or target what you think people might search. So let's just play along with the red shoes. So you might use keywords, red shoes, red high heels, red sneakers, something like that. You then put those into ad groups. So an ad group is basically a group of ads that are relevant to a particular item or product or topic. So if, let's say, I sold shoes, I might have 4 different ad groups, one for red shoes, one for blue shoes, one for green shoes, and one for yellow shoes. Very colourful set of shoes I have. And then you might then then these ad groups sit under campaigns. So your campaigns might differ. So it might be, you might have a campaign for a summer sale. You might have a campaign for your new winter stock. You might have, depending on what you're trying to achieve, essentially, your campaign is houses all your ad groups, ads and keywords. And then obviously you have your overall account. So maybe it was a little bit awkward to go from the bottom up, but you kind of get the picture. The most granular level is your keyword. They sit in groups of ad groups. They then sit in campaigns, and they're all under one account. So an account essentially is for one business.
We always use the example of red shoes, right?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's always red shoes.
One of the great thing about online digital marketing is that you can measure your results. So it's one of the biggest advantage of online marketing. You can measure the impact of the campaigns, and it's very valuable. It brings advertisers some data to understand the behavior, if their campaign are working or not. And that's what differs from more traditional medias like televisions, radio, or newspapers. Basically, the only way to know if your advertising efforts are paying off is to measure whether site visitors are actually completing the actions you want them to complete when they land on your site. So if you're not tracking their actions, you're just playing a guessing game with your performance. For example, if a user completes a search and, for example, red shoes, he gets to see your ad, he clicks on your ad, and he arrives on your website. But then you need to know what he's going to do there, and you need to be able to track what you want him to do there to measure if your campaign is effective or not. So
just on that as well, I think a big thing is we obviously track how many people buy things on websites, and being able to look into that back end and look at that path means that, going back to what I said about remarketing, you can create lists based off people that don't convert, or people that got to your checkout, had something in their cart but didn't buy. And that's how ads can be so relevant and almost spooky, because sometimes you're like, how did that company know I was about to buy that, and now I'm seeing ads everywhere? So that's why it's so important that we have such insight into the back end, I suppose.
Absolutely, yeah. Like audience targeting is really improved by the tracking, of course.
Yeah.
And so Google allows you to measure a very wide variety of interactions of your customers. And for every business type, the goals will differ. Some of them will want to measure the online purchases their campaigns triggered, or others will just want the customers to fill up a form, or to visit a land page, to see a video, or just go in store or download an app. Google products allow the advertisers to measure all of this, to track all of this, and they need to be sure to track every type of interaction that actually matters to their business.
Another way that we track, and very, I suppose, in-depth method of how we track interactions and sessions people spent on websites, is using our platform Google Analytics. This gives us huge insight into really granular details. So examples are where visitors are coming from, what keywords did they use. I suppose then you want to ask the question, are you actually creating effective content if the keywords are not relevant, or if people are coming from locations that you actually don't want to target? Where are visitors abandoning my shopping cart? So that's kind of what I just touched on there. Why are people dropping off when they get to the checkout, or why are they dropping off when they see the shipping or something like that? And how can I improve my site interaction? So Google Analytics really helps you analyze visitor traffic and paint a complete picture of your audience and their needs, tracking the routes that people take to reach you and the devices that they use to get there, with reporting tools or learning what people are looking for and what they like on your site. So then it really allows you to tailor your marketing and site content for maximum impact. So the insights that you get are just incredible in terms of constantly allowing you to improve yourself and reach the customers that you want to reach. So that's kind of everything about Google Ads, I suppose, digital marketing and the online landscape for Google Ads.
Our work,
yeah. And feel free to pop some questions if you do have any specific questions about our day-to-day. But now we want to just give you a bit of an overview about maybe career opportunities at Google within digital marketing, just to kind of round up. So this is Google Dublin, where myself and Florent are based. So just to give you a bit of an insight into who we are and what we do, we have Googlers from around 60 countries here based in Dublin, which just creates such a confluence of languages, like national influences, different ways of thinking in Dublin. And this diversity, I suppose, is just really instrumental in making better decisions for our businesses and our users. It creates such a nice hub here in Dublin. I feel like it's almost a very university vibe. And I feel like I've learned more about the world in the past 2.5 years from just being around people that are from all over the world. I really have. My ears almost like perk up when I actually hear someone speaking in English, because you hear people speaking so many different languages all the time. I'm in my own little world sometimes. The split, I suppose, of male to females is actually quite close. I don't know if those numbers are completely accurate right now, but it is pretty 50-50 in terms of males to females working in the office, which is great. And yeah, everyone here in Dublin works towards supporting hundreds of thousands of advertisers, publishers and users. And I suppose some of the roles that we have here, 70% are sales, and then we have quite a chunk of engineering and 16% of G&A. What's G&A? Gosh, I should have actually checked that. I'm sorry, guys. Other roles that are in Dublin are trust and safety. We have site reliability engineers, and yeah, it's quite a diverse hub, and so many different opportunities here under one roof, really. Or I say one roof, but it's almost 3-4 roofs.
Yeah. Maybe 5 now with the cloud builder.
Yeah, 5. So, yeah. It's ever expanding. And yeah, I suppose what we look at is supporting our advertisers in the support sense, but obviously there's sales, there's marketing, communications, and there's engineers to make sure that everything works.
Yeah. I liked what you said about the campus being kind of having kind of a university vibe. It's absolutely true. Mm-hmm. And that's the pretty cool part about it. Concerning our daily job, what do we do? So whether you're in sales or doing the job that Laura and I do, we're working with agencies, working with businesses to help them build their online space, educating them, teach them about the marketing principle and how to use the Google products. We help them grow their online presence, optimizing their existing accounts, activities, campaigns. We help them discovering new features and solutions that Google develops on a day-to-day basis. And we also help them solving technical issues. Mm-hmm. That's actually what Lorna and I are specialized into.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
we didn't reflect this morning really with this kind of sound problem.
But with the beauty of that, and what I sometimes think about it, is in some cases we are the first people that people actually speak to.
They are, yeah.
When they phone up Google to, I suppose, with an issue or with a problem, they actually speak to myself and Florent, whether it's on the phone or over chat or something like that. So it's really nice for us to get an insight into all the different businesses that are using our products. So it's learn something new every day.
Oh yeah, but you get to interact with a lot of different people, a lot of different businesses involving in a lot of different industries. So it's true that you learn every day in this kind of job, which is very nice.
Yeah. And then I suppose we have a very varied workday. So yes, we speak to our customers, we troubleshoot, we consult, we support. We also do a lot of stakeholder management. If we see a lot of issues bubble up for multiple clients, we might speak to product teams or engineers to make sure that the right information is out there for our users. We also train some agencies and some advertisers up on new products, or if they're constantly calling in or chatting in, asking the same questions, we might try hold sessions with them to educate them more. So there's so much that we do that is not just support and talking to our customers. There's a whole other world to it in terms of educating and communicating with our customers at a different level as well.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of brings us to the end.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. We got through it. Thanks so much for holding on and being patient with us while we got the sound working. Yeah, we're going to do some questions now. So I'm checking the chat here. We have a nice few. You have a fellow French supporter watching the video. There's
thanks, Pierrick.
Michael has asked, let's say I created a new website, what's the best way to get it in the top 10 results search? This is a really good question, and it's one that we get asked by advertisers all the time. Something that we're really focusing on at the moment is page speed. So making sure that your landing page loads fast and is compatible with all devices, so whether that's desktop, tablet or mobile. And then that's kind of like the technicalities. And then I think the other important things obviously are making sure that your ads are relevant. So if you have an ad that says buy red shoes in Dublin, you want to make sure that the landing pages all have exactly what you're looking for. So it's a mix of being very relevant, having a high landing page quality, and then you want to make sure that your bid is competitive. So in the AdWords interface, you do have an opportunity to see what your competitors are bidding at and kind of what the benchmarks are. So once you're kind of within those benchmarks, then you can pretty easily get to the top of the page.
You do.
Let's see. Do you want to take this one? What is the best way to target mobile users around a particular demographic? That's from Show Me How To.
What's the best way to target mobile users around particular demography? I guess what you mean here is how to target certain users on mobile, being part of a certain age group or this kind of stuff. Well, the good thing about Google Ads is it's very easy to target people and to target the people you want and you think your ad is going to be the most relevant to. On Google Ads, you can, first of all, target the device you want, whether it's tablet, computer, mobile device, and then you can find some demographic segments. You want to target the people aged from 15 to 20, 20 to 25. You can choose this kind of stuff. Do you want to target more male, female? Do you want to target people with certain hobbies? That's possible. Do you want to target people that are only in a specific area? If, for example, you can only provide your service in a certain restrained area, you don't want to show your ads to people outside this area. That won't be useful to you. So yeah, you can really work on your campaigns to show them to the most relevant people, whether they're on mobile or from a certain demographic group.
So I see everyone corrected us on the G&A. Very well done. General and administrative. Need a coffee, obviously, this morning. And Pierrick also asked, do you provide on-site support and training to companies as well? So yeah, we touched on this just there. I was actually just in London 2 weeks ago giving a training to some of our top agencies for the UK and Ireland market on some of the questions that they ask quite a lot, and then some new products and new ways to optimize their campaigns.
Yeah, and we also do these kind of webinars for top agencies. Like I know I did some for some agencies on French market. And
Yeah.
sometimes, we just go in country to meet them and teach them about new stuff, new beta that are coming in, just kind of stuff.
So we have a few questions coming in there about internships and placements at Google. We might hold these off to the end because we can answer those on the chat. We have someone from the kind of intern team that can answer those for you. Going back to, let's see, all my friends have an ad block plugin. Would it still make sense to pay AdWords if everyone used ad block? I think you would be surprised about how little people use ad block. So yes, it's becoming more popular. It's definitely something that we'll have to start considering. But I think right now there are still so many people that see ads on a day-to-day basis that it hasn't been something I've heard of being an issue right now.
Not right now. I saw a question about Alessandra, how to learn about Google Ads skills. You have a lot of online material, whether it's on YouTube. I highly recommend the YouTube videos. They're very useful. Or just...
help centers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Help center.
There is exams that you can take as well. There's you can become Google Ads certified. There is I think there is an online course. Maybe we can post it in the chat.
Yeah.
We can post a link to that. But there is like an online course that you can do to become kind of at the basic level AdWords certified, which is definitely very handy for when you're applying for roles here at Google.
Then we have the question of Lorenzo. You think there is a generic target for CPV, CPC, CPA, or it highly depends from the type of ad content? It highly depends on the type of ad, on your industry. And
every auction is different. So essentially, when you bid on a keyword, it gets sent into an auction and then you kind of bid against your competitors. But depending on the time of day, the device, the location, there are so many different factors that can influence a bid. And it just means that there's no kind of general CPC for anything.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
and CPC is cost per click, just for anyone that doesn't know that.
Yeah. Like advertisers test, make a lot of tests. Like basically they're going to be running their campaign with a certain CPC. If it works, they can decrease it or increase it to adjust the results. But there's no predefined CPC or CPA to have on a certain industry.
Okay, I think, we'll take this last one maybe from Lee. If the same user pays on ads on the same day 10 times, for example, the site owner will pay for the 10 clicks.
That's a very precise question.
It's very precise, and there's a couple of answers to this. So yes, if you consistently click on ads, the advertiser will pay for them. If you do it like very fast, or if it's basically, our systems can pick up if people click on ads invalidly or to hike up prices for advertisers. So what we sometimes run into is competitors that are running into the same auction. They might click on each other's ads to hike up prices. But luckily our systems are smart enough to filter those out. So to avoid any kind of malicious activity, we monitor that. But yes, if like sporadically throughout the day you clicked on an ad multiple times, the advertiser would pay for that.
You also have the options when you set up your campaign to say to the system if you want to show your ad like once or twice to the users or many more times, which can help.
And I think that's it. There are some questions there, we're not ignoring them, don't worry, about the internships. You will receive a follow-up email about that. And thanks so much for your time today, guys. We really appreciate you I suppose persisting with us while we had sound technical difficulties. And And yeah, make sure to tune in. There'll be some more sessions coming up in the coming weeks, so keep an eye out for those. And yeah, thanks so much. Have a lovely day ahead.
Thank you, guys. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye.